Alright everybody, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about self-worth. Are you feeling worthy? What does it mean to feel worthy, or are you even aware that there's a deep sense of unworthiness settled in you, and you keep saying statements like, oh, I'm fine, uh, I cannot do it, I'm unhappy, I deserve only this. So are you saying these statements? So, are you really fine? Is the question. Okay, let's first talk about how worthlessness makes you feel. It makes you feel that there are just like this broken mirror. You feel fragments of you and you feel it's not worth it. Anything. Okay, there are two people living inside you, and these two people are nothing but two separate feelings, or let's say duality. So I mainly talk about, awakening star seeds, light workers, and they understand the concept that we all originated from the love and light of divine. And now when we separated from those feelings or those energies, then a duality gets created, because we are trying to live in something that is opposite to what we were born with. We were born with love and made from the light source. So when you feel these fragments, these two people living in you, outside you have put a mask where you're trying to show that you're happy, you're brave, you have figured out everything. Everything is settled, and you know you've you're all set to go. There's nothing wrong with you. But deep inside, okay, you keep feeling these feelings that, oh my god, how am I going to do it? Or they are better than me. I don't deserve happiness. Every time you are in a relationship, not just with your romantic relationships, but any kind of relationship, employer employee relationship, parent child relationship, sibling to sibling relationship, friendships, and you feel they are much better. My god, they can do things so nicely and I can never do that. Always, constantly putting yourself on the pedestal that others are better and I am not. And if anything wrong is happening, somebody blames you, criticizes you, or judges you, hmm, you feel that this is what you deserve. In short, this separation of the duality that I was talking about and these separated fragments are making you believe this shattered you that is not complete, it has been broken. It makes you see the world as if everybody else in that world is perfect but not you. And when you are surrounded by beliefs or thoughts of judgment, criticism, or blame, or sadness, or people cheat on you, or you're unhappy, you feel that this is what you deserve. So let me just read this quote. Why does nothing in my life ever go my way? Guess I just don't deserve happiness. You think you don't deserve love, you don't deserve happiness, this you don't deserve a loving, fulfilling, kind, compassionate relationship. Now let's talk about self-worth. What does it mean, and then what does low self-worth mean, and how do we get into this pattern, from where it is coming? Now self-worth is basically, what is the worth, the value. Okay, like I talk about few videos, I talked about, we are worth diamonds. So diamond, and do you see the value? And especially I truly feel for star seeds, light workers, or awakening souls, especially people who are not able to adjust in these kinds of system and they constantly question. We are made to feel that it like something is wrong with us only. We are always like that. Everybody's going straight. You want to take the wrong turn, right? And we are told such things that what is our value, it just becomes undermined. We are just suppressed, and the value, basically, if somebody does not know what the value of a diamond is, and they cannot recognize the stone, then what would happen is that they'll end up throwing that stone, right? They'll say, oh, you're not worth it. And because somebody else has thrown that away, that diamond itself is feeling that, oh, maybe I am not worth it. Are you getting the idea? So it's basically, how do you feel? It's not about others. It's about how do you feel? What is your worth, right? And now, unworthy is definitely, you feel that you deserve pain, suffering, because there's a deep sense of, because you're never able to adjust or fit in anything. Whatever you do, they are rejecting you, right? And even if you try to do something, then, and if you fail in that, it brings you hopelessness, that oh my god, I'm so hopeless. It's, I am never, I won't be able to do this, right? You feel insignificance, like everybody around me is a multitasker. Okay, and I could only operate when I would still myself. Today I know why it works for me, but before that I always needed quiet space, stillness. Okay, and everybody is running busy, and oh my god, they are doing multitask. So you can imagine, when we were asked, when your parents or people, they wanted to do, they wanted some work to be done, they would always be like, oh, let this person do it, you just sit. So it kind of made me really feel insignificant, right? They yes, the world needs people who are fast, who are multitasking, right? But I am somebody who needs to still and can focus one thing at a time. So when others are chosen above me, I feel I'm hopeless, I'm insignificant. Then you feel like you're made to feel that, you know you actually feel that it's not the others. Usually I would say that you are like a burden, and you keep collecting, sense of guilt. I was not good enough, I did something which, because of which they got angry, and that's why they're mad at me now, or their mood got turned off, right? So we keep collecting the guilt, like small guilts, like mothers do. Oh, I got up late, I can't prepare the food today, and my child had to go hungry. That's also kind of guilt, very small things, but they are accumulating the guilt and a burden, that, oh, I'm not a good mother because I couldn't make food. I woke up late and then I couldn't make food, and so my child had to go hungry. Do you see the cycle of guilt? And then now I feel like, oh my god, I am just a burden. I'm not a good mother. I deserve to be a bad mom title. Those titles, we keep putting titles or labels over us, that this is us and this is us. That thing keeps going inside of us. Yes, sometimes that made you feel and believe that you're not acceptable or deserve attention. Any person, any situation that has happened with you which made you internally feel that, I do not deserve dash dash dash, so you can fill those dashes with, I don't deserve love, I don't deserve happiness, I don't deserve their affection, I don't deserve their respect, right? Deserve dash dash dash. Now you can fill those dashes for you. And then you are never, because you function in a different way, and mostly most of the other people are working in one same pattern, and because you cannot fit in, it's their problem that they cannot accept how we function. But what is happening is that we did not realize that we do not know our worth, and we keep feeling that, oh, I deserve to be abandoned and not be accepted by the society, our families, our friends, siblings. So that acceptance, to accept our own self, is not there first of all, and then others accepting us, that concept is totally not there in a person who's feeling unworthy within themselves. Now, how does one collect these feelings? Usually they are collecting it from their childhood days. Remember, I told you about inner child issues, that as a childhood period we can take from, well, actually I would like to take it from the point when the soul has entered the womb, when we are in the womb, because many spiritual teachings already told us that the child is also always listening. And now people say that, there have been cases where a person remembered how a mother felt when, the baby was in the womb, and all the emotions and feelings this baby is absorbing via the womb. Okay, so I would like to take it from there, but let's take the ideal age is from 6 to 14. Now, what is happening is that the child, however the childhood was, they always say you can know a lot about a person from his childhood background, how his life was growing up, and then the company he keeps, and what is he doing currently. Okay, now what happens is when you are in the childhood, so you might have felt neglected. Like, there are many siblings in older days, people had 7 to 8 children or more than that. Now everybody is not getting the equal attention. So the older generation, there was this feeling that, we are always being neglected, abused. Abuse can be of any kind. Some children and have gone through severe abuse, mental, emotional, and even physical and sexual. I I have gone through the mental abuse cycle because my father really needed love and attention, and at times he would use those things to get, to to be with him, surround him with love, affection, and all those things. So in a sense it was not proper abuse, I would say, but then manipulating someone's feeling to make them work according to you, that is an emotional abuse cycle on a very light level. Mothers usually do blackmail, but it's not like, it's also, this cannot also be counted as an abuse. So yes, I only talk about emotional intelligence or emotional energies because in my family most of the people went through a lot of depression, and what I started realizing was that they are storing, there's something else is happening. It's not possible that generation after generation everybody gets in a cycle of depression. And it just made me continuously, it kept making me think, what's happening, why are these people having a mental breakdown? And then back then they thought, we would always go to the doctor, medicines, and nothing used to work. And they were, in fact, the health seemed to be deteriorating only. And then I ended up having friends also who went through that cycle, or I kept attracting such people who went through the phase of depression. And back then I don't know about anything spiritual or emotional energies or how emotions are working. And then I get into my legal field, and as a lawyer I go to NGOs, I work in the criminal field, and again there I have same kind of women who are suffocating inside, who are not seeking for themselves, and now they are very lost, unhappy. Some have reached a point of mental breakdown, and they're sitting there. And the worst was, Oh God, this was I still remember this was early years of my practicing with a senior lawyer, and this couple came in with their daughter, and she went into a marriage where she was abused a little bit, not too much, but yes, that is one more thing. People think that, oh, you went through slight abuse and you can, it's all right, people go through worse. But what we need to realize is big or small abuse is abuse. And now she's sitting there like she's there, but she's not there. People who have gone through this will realize it. Like for me, there were two people living in me until I decided that no, this is what I want to do. And I started expressing my authentic self. So now what happens is this lady is sitting, and her own parents are like, she must have not done something right. That's why she got hit by her husband. That's why her in-laws are cursing. And the mother went on to say that she couldn't perform in bed, and it's her fault. So you see how parents are nagging, and she's just sitting there like now. Sh- okay, I think I shouldn't talk more about that story. What it triggered in me made me realize that I'm continuously seeing that they did this to me, and then always thinking in my parents don't understand me. But the problem was I wasn't sure who I was, and I did not value somewhere deep within. I was not valuing what I had. But anyhow, it's a journey. If those events would have not happened, I wouldn't have understood who I am today and wouldn't be here. So this is very important. Certain times we might feel, why is this happening to me? Like being a child where all your other siblings are doing very well, they get above 80-90%. They're good with friends, they are good in societies, everybody loves them, and you on the other side, you just don't want to mingle with anybody, and it's really hard. Like where others are exhaling, you are completely going on the other side. So parents are obviously worried, they are bothered, and then they get frustrated why one of their child is not able to perform like the rest. So ultimately that frustration, that worriedness is only coming out of fear, and they used to get angry at times, right? But as a child, I did not understand that, and I absorbed it, collected it within myself, in my emotional body. Now, as I grew up and I started working on my self worth issue, this is what I find, that ultimately, even they are running in a pattern, and that in order to be successful in the world, you need to do certain things, and if you're not doing those certain things, if you do not succeed in them, that you won't be successful in life. So obviously they're worried about one of their child, and when I look from that perspective now today, there is no more blame, neither to them nor to me. It's only that it took some time to find my worth. Plus, if those events would have not happened, I wouldn't have recognized my worth. Then there are other things that in childhood a person must have gone through: bully, criticism, and bad behavior from some people. And there are times where parents are busy, and people come in to take care of the kids, so they might have been not treated well, bullied. I think I keep talking about the fat shaming. So yeah, I was bullied. Now it took me time, the triggers, and then I started working on these issues. So certain things came out again, feeling unworthy. So I felt that this body that I'm having is ugly and I'm not worth it. A very deep sense of, very deep, like you can imagine, I could not see the light. I was such in such a dark pit that it was really hard to see that even I have some value, because physically, emotionally, and because emotionally I am not just absorbing, you know, from the environment. But as an intuitive empath, when I'm going out there mingling with people, even if I'm not talking and I'm getting exhausted, I am surrounded by energies. So I never realized that half of them, in fact, actually more than half of them, were not even mine. So bullied, maltreated, and these little things. So you have to check in how your relationship was with your parents. How was your school life, your friends, and what were the other surrounding people or situations that were around you when you were growing up? Now, what happens is in these environment, negative events happen. And negative events are like, parents fighting, ultimately leading to separation or divorce, and a child is thinking that they must be fighting because of me. Most of the children have this, because I again saw this in one of my cases, that this child felt that it's because of him that the parents were not together, and they were fighting because they used to fight in the room that I have to pay the school bills, and I have to take care of his clothes, I have to take him here, put him into these classes, and he heard that. So he thought that it was because of him. And then poor grades in school, this point I've added, because I really felt that, as I said, my siblings used to get 80s, 90s, and my report card, half of them was entirely red. And this was like throughout, like I could barely just pass my class. And my parents were constantly worried, so they would always compare. There was too much of comparison, right? They did not see there must be some other way in this world. To have this mindset that if a child is not able to do well in certain things, then there must be something else for this child, is very limited. So in spite of putting me in a more calmer environment, they started sending me for this class, that class. This would enhance your intelligence or personality. They kept putting me here and there, but nothing seemed to work. And truly, it's not their fault and not even mine, because as a child, we do not understand things, right? Why I keep saying that in order to forgive the rest of the world, the first person you need to forgive is yourself, because you did not understand yourself, what you were going through. And then you can find it hard to make friends. Some people do. In this case, at least I believe I was very blessed that I kept moving from one place to another every few years, but wherever I went, I really got good friends. But some people do not, and they are loner. And friend wise, when I was there, I used to get friends, but now that I've moved along in life, they are left behind. So if you say there's a 4 a.m. friend, I have no such person in my life. But I still have those, and I still call them once in a while and talk to them just to know how they are. Financial crisis. Now, when I say financial crisis, I don't mean you have a look at your bank account and it's standing at zero or $10 or $100 or limited money. What I'm saying is there are times when people are rich and still they think they are gonna go, like they are in a financial crisis. It happens. You might think that oh, they have so much of money, worth crores or millions or billions, but for them, they are constantly thinking, oh, it's less. So the finance is also creating a worth for you, and they start continuously feeling worthless. Now remember, there are different levels of worthlessness. Some totally feel they are completely useless. Some people feel that in the field, like in their careers, they're not doing good, or as a father, or as a husband, or as a wife, or the relationship tag, then the work tag, and you think there you're not doing your best. There you're not contributing well enough, you're not adding to the value. So financial crisis is not just your bank account being empty. It means that in your mind, there is continuously this pattern that you do not have enough, and you will soon run out of it and be in crisis. And I found this pattern in my family as well, in my friends' family as well. I found so many people with the same pattern. They have enough, but they continuously say that, we haven't done good enough for you, we haven't provided you certain things, and they start putting them in that bracket, that pattern, that we have scarcity of things, and soon we are going to run out, and then we won't be able to afford or provide it to you. So they feel this crisis. And broken relationships is also kind of negative event when some are very toxic, definitely a very intense negative event, but sometimes the relationships just break and the other person keeps feeling, no, I am unworthy, I was the one, and maybe it's me, something to do with me, that the other person left me. Like here also, I had another very deep scar, that in a relationship, my partner he was already, he was kind of seeing other girls behind my back. So it came out very later, and in the group it's always like, oh, you guys look really good together, and it's like we were like really adored. And I thought it for some time that maybe it was my fault, and maybe I wasn't enough. And I thought, maybe, but this is how a relationship works, that a man gets everything, and maybe I'm not enough for him, so maybe he needs others, which was, oh my god, now I look back and I think what kind of what kind of pattern I was stuck in, to think that I am not sufficient, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not able to provide everything that the other person needs. So you might be stuck in such patterns. And loss of job, definitely job brings you a lot of, it adds to your confidence. And if you are not working and then you see other people working, especially if you're living in a place where you have more of young professionals, and then you find yourself sitting at home and the others going to work all dressed up, suited up with their laptops and driving their cars, then it kind of gets inside and it makes you feel that, oh my god, look at them. And you just get these thoughts. Maybe you do not take them deep into you, but they do affect you somewhere. Then last is, can't handle stress, because you have such mental pressure inside of you, of your own value, that adding on to that stress is something you cannot do if you feel unworthy. And especially for star seeds and light workers, we all had to struggle a lot to adjust into everything which we were born into. And in different ways we collected, these the dark night of the soul. So these events that caused or created feelings that became kind of dark within us, and making us feel lonely, abandoned, guilt, shame, and so many other things. And some even went through a lot of trauma and abuse, right? So it's very, very important for you to realize that if you see others around you who can handle stress easily and you cannot, then it's okay. It's okay. You cannot, that means you cannot. There is nothing to feel that, oh my god, they are putting so much of stress. People, you have seen people for exams. Like I used to see people for exams, they are just stressing. And some it's not just me. I used to see some people who were just sitting there sipping coffee, or enjoying with friends, and they were like, it's all right, it's in 2 days, or it's in one day, or it's tomorrow morning or afternoon, and we'll see about it. So why is it that some people are continuously, just beating themselves out and stressing themselves, and some are just sitting there? It's all right. So you have to see these distinctions. Some people, if they think stress works for them, good. But for you, especially if you are an awakened soul, stress is something that is coming out of fear. And fear is a pattern, it's a program that we are not going to run on anymore. That is very, very needed. That if you want to raise your vibrations, the first step is to start digging out your shadows that bring you into these patterns of fear and keep you locked in your ego self. Only then, once you stop living moment to moment in fear, oh my god, what about job, what about money, what about when will I get married, when will I have money, this much car or house, these thoughts, the future, see, you're getting into future, or I had a past like this, it's affecting me. Focus on your moment, just the moment. What are you doing right now? Are you having a cup of coffee while listening to me? Hold that cup and put your entire focus on having that cup of coffee and enjoying it. Okay, just forget about everything. Whatever you are doing, you're gardening, you are picking out trash, you are doing your laundry, simple tasks, just do them with full focus. And just forget about stress, worry, fear. Moment after moment, when you start pulling these things out, these feelings out, these thoughts that are not even needed and yet they are there somehow. Awareness. When we have awareness and we start to see what we are thinking, what we are feeling, then it becomes more easy to identify where I want to be, what I want to think, and what I want to feel. If you remember the 1 minute exercise, then do that. After every 59 minutes, sit with yourself and do a quick few seconds of review of what you felt or you thought in the past 59 minutes, and what do you want to continue and what you want to remove. Just do that 1 minute. Give 1 minute to yourself and see the difference it makes. So do not give in to stress, and whatever you have been through, it's not fixed, it's not pasted like a tile on the wall. Don't worry about it. Anything you have gone through is just an experience, right? And these experiences can be removed and changed and filled with feelings of happiness, love, that you do belong somewhere. And not just somewhere, but you are unique and you have your own gifts and talents. You just have to find them. That's it. It's like the rest of them have found their treasure and they're happy with it. But sometimes, you have to struggle, but you end up finding deep in the jungle that there was a huge vault which nobody ever found, and that belongs to you. So you never know what comes out for you. So do not worry. There is definitely something for you. You are unique, and there is a purpose to your existence. Remember that nobody can see or know. That if you're existing, you're breathing, then there is a reason why you are here breathing and living. You just have to find that. All right. Now I'm going to put some statements out here, okay? And see if it resonates with you or you find somebody else saying that. And these are generally, when you're feeling that you have less value or no value, when you're comparing it with others. Now, this comparison can be with closed ones, or your peers, or the group that surrounds you, the society, the religion, your country. In short, as again, too many labels. But you have to see, when you compare yourself with those things, with those labels, are you saying these statements? And do you really think that this statement that you're saying applies to you? So, do you find yourself saying, I am nothing? Oh, they are better than me. Yes, I'm tired of feeling worthless. I am tired of feeling hopeless. But above all, I'm tired of feeling tired. You know this feeling, and you're like, oh my god. And then this cycle keeps going on again and again, and you get tired of that as well. Okay, I don't deserve love, or I only deserve dot dot dot. So that dot can be filled by you, whatever comes to your mind. Do these exercises to find simple exercises to find what you're saying, and do they really apply to you? I deserve the shame, guilt, for I am wrong. You have seen people, right? They make you feel like it was all your fault, and some people accept to it. Especially people who are looking for validation from outside, or have people pleasing attitude because they feel insecure and they don't want to feel abandoned. So that feeling, that fear, that oh my god, if I don't agree they might end up leaving me, they agree to the game and guilt and shame that is put on them. I am worth being neglected, especially in children. If you are a parent, please do not do that, because you think that uh, your child is okay, but you're fighting, or you're on a phone or working, you don't have time. Make time. You don't have to spend entire day if you cannot do that, but every day, if you spend 5 minutes with somebody, that's more than enough. So if there is a loved one, if you have been doing that or somebody else is doing that to you, just express and let them know. It must be my fault, for they can't be wrong. I mean, I I have been in this statement so many times that my parents, my siblings, my teachers, or my mentors, they're not wrong. So if they have said something, then it is my fault. I don't deserve love and success. This was completely me, thinking that I'm not enough, he needs more, and I deserve that. I don't deserve love. I deserve to be left alone. I don't deserve to get loved or feel happy, and to think that I can be successful was a complete no-no. Like I could still hear my inner thoughts laughing at me only, like, you think you can do this really? So the inner talk, I never thought about that I was the first person to make me feel this way, because I wasn't aware of how I need to make myself feel. The first person is me, and then the rest, anybody else is going to come. I deserve being abandoned, especially when people are in orphanage. These children are born with, these children, they are carrying this feeling. There's so many children who are just abandoned right after being given birth. Imagine a soul who has come into this planet, and the parents who were supposed to take care, supposed to fill him with love, peace, compassion, that we are there, support them, secure them, make them feel that they are safe. They abandon them. And the child might be really small, but do not mistake that, because when you are, even just think for a second, you're sleeping, okay, and somebody comes in, all of a sudden your body is at, at alert mode. It recognizes that something is there and you immediately wake up. So the baby is feeling that there is nobody around him or her, and they are absorbing these feelings. So even if they cannot speak, they can feel it. And this is what they're feeling: unsafe. There's nobody around me. Oh my god, I'm left alone. I'm abandoned. It's a very bad feeling. Internally mock yourself when you have a great idea. I mean, I feel at some level everybody of us does that. And last is I'm ugly. And I think there's one more. Yes, always you are the one to apologize. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. It was my fault. How many of you have done that? I do that a lot. Do you see the weight? It's like you're just pulling something every day with yourself. And it's like an added weight which does not belong to you. But you feel that this is what you are and you need to live with it and carry it. Imagine from childhood to my 20s, I grew up with this feeling that I deserve this, I am unworthy, I am supposed to be blamed, I am unloved, I deserve to be cheated on, all those things. And I thought this is how I am born, and this is never going to go anywhere. This is how I am built, and this is how I'm going to live with it. Oh my god, it was so. I just thought I am, born with this default, that this is my flaw, I'm flawed. This is what I used to think for so long. And there's so many out there who have spent their entire lives thinking this, that this weight that they're carrying is them, and this can never be changed. So I was one of them, and I'm telling you, I haven't completed, like completely removed all the shadows from me. I'm still a work in progress, but I have really come far out of this. And I will tell you how I have done that, so that you can use it. You can go for coaching, you can go for classes, you can take help, certainly. But at the end of the day, the best guru is your own soul. All the records of experiences your soul is carrying with you, and it knows what what is inside and what needs to be healed. So ultimately, it's about sitting with yourself and facing, no matter how ugly truths come out, facing them, feeling them, and then letting them go without judging it. Because when you start judging, you are again putting yourself in a pattern of negativity, and it's going to again trap you. Okay? Now, yes, sometimes I feel useless, but then I remember I breathe out carbon dioxide for plants. Woohoo! This is so nice. Yes, everybody's contributing. So why do you feel that you're not contributing? We all are. We all are unique, and we all are contributing to something that we do not see, but we are like small pieces of the big picture. We do not see the big picture, but certainly because of certain things, we end up helping big time. And this is how this universe is still alive and functioning, because of each one of us. We might think big and small, but for universe, everybody is equal. So with all these feelings that I have just stated, or the statements I would say, do you feel that you have been saying this to yourself, and in any way you're feeling unworthy? Remember, unworthy is not just when you reach the pitch dark deep inside the ground space, there can be small things also that somewhere make you feel that maybe, you know, I don't add value to something, maybe a family function, or maybe your school, the group projects that you do, your office, your sports team. It can be anything, anything. Okay, so you can be on different levels. Some might have way too much of uh, mixed negative events that have caused them to have really complex feelings about themselves. Now, before I move on to what you can do, I would like to talk a little bit about self sabotage, because self sabotage is directly connected to feeling of unworthiness, because you have this constant pattern going inside you that I'm not worthy. So maybe you are worthy of being successful, free, happy, so many things that you keep dreaming about. What you're dreaming about is actually maybe something your soul or your higher self trying to tell you. And but you go out into the world and see how the others are seeing you, and you think that that's just a dream, and that can never be the reality. Okay, so what you end up doing is you keep sabotaging your own path to your physical well-being. Like when I shared my fat shaming story, what I realized was that, oh, everybody is triggering me. They are doing this. They are always like that. It's their mindset. Yes, it is. It's their mindset. That's true. But what is my mindset? And in my mind, I knew that I look very beautiful, and I'm also born like the rest of the beautiful people out there in the world, and everybody's beautiful. So I was the one in a pattern of sabotaging my own health, continuously eating, feeling happy, I eat, feeling sad, I eat, feeling anything, I just ate. This was my coping mechanism to not get out and work for myself. So physically they end up destroying, mentally, emotionally, and they have their own goals and values, but they end up taking an axe and they just chop it off on their own. So you get into patterns of self sabotage when there is deep rooted feeling of unworthiness in you. And if self sabotage is there, then you need to know about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, in short, is when you're doubting your ability and you feel there's a feeling that you are just a fraud and nothing more. So your dreams are showing you, oh, you're rich, you are successful, you are beautiful, you have so many people out there who love you, admire you, and then there is another you which is continuously saying, oh my god, I'm meant for nothing, I'm not meant for love, I'm just meant to be put down, looked down upon, hate, guilt, shame, and we're just filling ourselves with that. The other person is just filling with those negative feelings, and the other person in you, the other feeling basically in you, is dreaming these things. But what happens is, firstly you get into patterns of self-sabotage, and the other is imposter syndrome, where you feel that because you're doubting your abilities, so you start feeling like a fraud. Let me read. Yes, you feel like a fraud. How is this happening? Negative talk, fearful of criticism. Yes, feeling of self-doubt, personal incompetence, and this is like for me it was my grades. Continuously read grades. So I'm thinking I'm incompetent in my education, and yet now that I count, I've been into 8 education institutions. So in spite of uh, such a beautiful experience in education wise, I would say, I still felt incompetent. So to think, oh, I am born to be a speaker and I'm born to be a leader and people love me and admire me. So when I used my mind is showing me this dream, I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't deserve that. And I am a fraud to think that ways. And I keep sabotaging everything that is coming into my way that can make me free, happy, successful, be loved, and give and receive love. I'm blocking everything for myself. So you might think, okay, I have slight worthy issues, what's the big deal, let me just go on. But remember, this is like an added weight, and if you remove this added weight, then you open the receiving from universe. It's like, there's a pipe and this pipe is now blocked, and if you have more events that made you feel unworthy, it's completely choked. So until and unless you clear everything, the flow of your success, prosperity, abundance, happiness, love, whatever it is for you, it won't flow into your pipes, your life, your energy that is running this body. So if you think you deserve something, everybody has their own dreams, which is unique to them. And if you really think this is where you belong to, then what is stopping it? And once you start finding what is yours, that these thoughts, beliefs, emotions, they are mine, but the rest are not, it will bring you clarity. You need to first start cleaning these thoughts and beliefs within yourself. The belief in you, the core belief that is running in you is that I am worth nothing and I do not deserve so and so, so and so, and so and so. And this belief is really like hardcore wired into your brain. And this is something you need to remove on your own. And for that, the first thing is to get out of your comfort zone. Very important. Comfort zone can be addicted to technology, addicted to food, not working out, always just, coming back and being in your room, not going out, meeting with people. Once you start writing, you'll find what is your comfort zone, and what if you get out of this comfort zone? What is going to change? You need to question that. All right. Now, what happens when this feeling is, hardcore wired into your brain? Like you feel that, this is something you are, and you cannot separate from it. You feel that this is you, who you are meant to be. Okay, and you cannot see that this is just a part that is stuck and this is not you, and you can remove it. So when this belief becomes hardcore in you, there is something known as the trance of unworthiness. And what is this trance? This trance is, it is a feeling that makes you feel that you're deeply flawed. I was stuck in this cycle, in this spinning wheel for a very long time, thinking I am flawed and this is how I am and this is how I am going to be. Okay, and you continuously feel that things like love, happiness, approval of others, success, this is not you. You do not feel you're worthy of these things, and that's why you keep feeling that you are flawed, and it's you. It's this this flaw is you. You cannot separate it from yourself because you cannot see that it's just a pattern and you can get out of it. So this trance, basically, I'll read the statements. Why do we hold so tightly to our belief in our own deficiency? Why are we so loyal to our suffering? Everybody is suffering, but when it comes to change, we are not ready to leave our comfort zone and get out of it. And why are we so addicted to self-judgment? As I said, self-judgment, because once you start digging in and find certain things, you will feel that even I I was the one to put so much of pressure on them, for validation, for love, for happiness at the same time. And then you start judging yourself. Judgment is another, the inner talk basically. You remember, the inner talk needs to shut. The inner critique needs to shut, and the judgment that this is what I did, I am so bad, I am so worse, and I'd only deserve this, that too needs to shut. Because if you sit judging, criticizing, you are again pulling yourself back in the negative cycle of, you are pulling yourself back in a negative pattern. So what is the point of working if you're going to pull yourself back in the negative pattern? Rejection doesn't mean you aren't good enough. It means the other person failed to notice what you have to offer. Exactly. You're not going to be precious for everybody. You might not fit into hundreds of fields, things, day-to-day life scenarios, but there is something for you that perfectly fits for you. Do not beat yourself. Do not compromise. Keep digging to find what your worth is. Like a diamond tester, he knows how to find the value of the highest diamond. So you are your own tester, and you need to keep testing, keep finding, keep questioning on who am I? How can I contribute in this life, right? And when you start doing that, you'll find that there is something beautiful that is so unique to you, and that will bring you too much of joy and happiness. And when you start vibrating on these feelings, then feeling unworthy, it's all just going to get cleared up from your system. But to go up, you need to first see what is keeping you stuck in that cycle and just start dusting them out of your system. All right. Now, what can I do? What can I do to make myself to feel that I deserve every bit of love, happiness, or I don't need approval from anybody else because I know my worth. So, how are you going to feel worthy? These are very general things that I'm going to list. No, not everything might work for you, and just you might even take one of these things, or you might have your own ways of dealing and figuring out these patterns and getting out of it. These are just examples that what can be done about it. Okay. So, oh yes, your consciousness. Now, when I say consciousness, I am talking about your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that create an experience or a world around you, that this is who I am, and this is the everybody has their own world. They see the world in their own way, and this lens of how they view the world is the lens of their own thoughts and beliefs. That is their consciousness. Now, if somebody who has lived a poor life, right, and is constantly seeing everybody in their family struggling, will keep feeling that, I'm poor, because people in his family or her family run on that pattern, and now that person is adopting that same pattern, and they do not realize that they can get out of that pattern. It's just a belief or thought that has got into them. And most of the people do not realize that these are just thoughts and beliefs, and they can be changed if one wants to change them. Like I tell the people who come to me for soul mapping, I tell them that thoughts are, they are just like visitors who were passing you by, but because you were somewhere needy, clingy, worthy, or you had no idea, you let them into your house. And once you gave them your house, you welcomed in, they became so comfortable first. And then they started to create havoc, tornadoes, and now you don't know what to do because they have control. Uh, they have control over you and your house. So thoughts are like visitors. Observe them, be thankful to them that you showed me certain feelings and emotions and how they make me think, but I do not associate with it, and ask them to go. So do not let them be a house member. Remember, thoughts are just passing by guests. Now, when you look into, now that you have understood what consciousness is made of, you need to start writing down. I always encourage my clients, my friends, everybody in my house to journal. I started journaling with 1 minute, and then I went on to journaling. I can spend an hour or above at times just writing and figuring things out and how I'm going to push myself. So when you find the thoughts and beliefs that are running into you, you need to see from where are these thoughts flowing into you. From your family, whether this thought is running into generations of your family or your surrounding, or it was entirely somebody else's thought, but it's just inside you and you never noticed, or you never thought that you shouldn't be in that thought process. And some are definitely coming from your past life. So start writing them down and then segregate them. That what do you associate with, what do you believe in, and what expresses the beliefs and thoughts, what expresses your authentic self, that is true to you, honest to you, and you have integrity to maintain those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. So make that chart, you versus the others, consciousness of others. Okay. Okay, healthy boundaries. Yes, boundaries again are very important because once you start segregating, you'll realize that the others might not change. But it's on you to change your inner self. Okay, so healthy boundaries, that if they are angry, then it's them, not me. If they do not accept me, then it's them, it's not me. Right? If they think they need other people and I'm not enough, because I was going through that pattern, I realized that it's them, not me. Because if I am sufficient for one, I feel that the other person is sufficient for me and he's good enough and I can have a life just with one person, then I completely feel that there is somebody out there who has the same feeling, that one is more than, it's not just more than enough, that the other person is the other half and completes me entirely. Okay, so you have to see that it's them, you cannot change them. But now that you see that difference, you need to stand to what you believe in and change your inner self. Okay, it's not my job to make them happy. Yes, some people are like, if you till your people you are pleasing them, they are happy with you, they are so nice to you. But the moment you stop doing that, they are like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and then they start getting angry with you, and then they'll find reasons to fight with you or get into argument, do not engage. All right? They do not agree. They cannot make you happy. It's not your job. Remember, it's not your job to put yourself down, to beat yourself up because somebody else is not happy. And remember, you have a right to express this line. I have a right to my own feelings. Yes, most of us are taught not to express, and at times you are expressing too much, and don't try to be so free. No, no, don't get into that. You are a human, you are a soul, and you have a right to express yourself the way you want to. When I say express yourself, I'm not saying to go fight or be aggressive and, just be disrespectful. What I'm saying is that if something doesn't stand to your value and it doesn't make you happy, and if you feel you have to compromise or you have to put yourself down, then that you need to express, right? You need to learn to say a no in capital letters. Saying no was another big thing that I could never ever say no, and that put me into a lot of trouble. And with those troubles only I learned that it would have been better if I would have said a no. So you need to say a no. And remember, I am enough. I am enough. When the soul comes from spiritual world, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot about soul, but you need to realize in human form there's a constraint, there's a limiting belief. But when you see yourself in terms of soul, you start to see that today I am a female. Today my name is so and so. Today I am a citizen of so and so country. This is my religion. These are just for this incarnation. Next life, am I even going to be on this planet or any other planet or any other galaxy? So this body also, this is just a costume. So when I think, I'm thinking in terms of soul. And when you start thinking in terms of soul, then those limiting beliefs just look really tiny, because imagine how vast the universe is. What are the other possibilities out there? And if it's so huge, like, I'll encourage you, go take a round, try to cover your city or the area that you live in one day. You won't be able to. Do you think one person can spend their entire life and travel every corner of the planet? It is going to be so huge, right? So how do we know? So why do we keep thinking, or we keep putting ourselves in the pattern that there is a limited life for everybody? This is everything is limited. And why do we keep ourselves in the box when the universe is so huge, right? And when the universe is so huge, there are so many endless possibilities, infinite. So there is definitely something for you out there. And that's why I keep connecting and reminding that when you start thinking in terms of soul, you see that there there is no upper cap. People say sky is the limit. I say universe is the limit, and maybe multiverse. So you never know how huge it is, right? We can never find it out. So think in terms of how huge and how many possibilities are there. We live under one sky, but there are other skies as well. We just don't know about it. But what if it's out there? What if there are other planets out there? Some star seeds and light workers, they still think that, are we still feeling, and maybe what we're feeling, maybe that's not true because they're just awakening. So it's kind of hard for them. It was even hard for me, and at times I used to go through the same cycle, that is it true, or are there other places? And when I would find people, uh, getting messages from councils of different star systems or from the Council of Light, I would be like, because when I was in my early stage of awakening, I would be like, are they really doing that? Is there something like that? And as a child, I had these thoughts which completely connected with what they were saying, and yet I still kept doubting my own self. So do not, I repeat, just do not doubt yourself, and remember you are enough. Okay? Write. Please write. Journaling is very important. You have to change the dialogue that you have with yourself, inner self, every day, from negative to positive. When your inner self mocks you, laughs at you, the ego self basically, push yourself out of the comfort zone and tell them that no, I will show you that this is me and I am whole, full, sufficient, whatever, and I do deserve so and so. See, inner talk. Start thinking whether you're thinking negative, talking to yourself negatively, or you're talking to yourself positively. Self compassion and respect. When I started doing my inner work, inner child healing, I realized that first they said that, try to bring the child you in front of you and see how the face is. And some people were saying it's happy, some people were saying it's not, it's kind of grumpy today, or different things. And what I see is, initially I couldn't see anything. Okay. And then what I feel is that the child me is looking back at me, and she is so sad, and she feels like she's terrified that she's left abandoned and there is nobody around her. And that really freaked me out, by the way. And I realized that, oh my God, forget about what others did to me. I never stood by myself. I was the one that left this little child's hand. I abandoned this child. I refused to let her feel love, compassion. I stopped respecting that child. I treated that child very badly. So I felt like I was a mother who abandoned a child, and that child is definitely mine because it's me, in the inner me, right? So I abandoned it. So now you can understand, it's very important to realize why you need not judge yourself. It's just an experience. Judging will pull you back into a negative cycle. Do not judge. But the moment you realize what has happened, from that moment onwards, hold her hand, love her, fill her with compassion, respect, adore her, tell her thousands and thousands, or every moment of the day, that she is worthy of the entire universe. She's a star born to shine like a diamond. Whatever, this is my statement that I kept telling the inner child in me, right? So from getting that image, when I was initially not getting any image in my meditation, then I get this terrified, abandoned image of my inner child, and then from there to this point where no matter what people say, yes, I do, I still, some people, obviously the close family members, as I told, I haven't told them about, I still haven't come out to them that I'm a healer, I'm a light worker, and I'm here to, heal myself, and when I do that work, I heal others. But because I'm still working on myself, so I don't know what to tell them. And then, and the reason I don't tell them is because I ended up telling someone, and they gave me a look which meant like I have really lost my mind. So I knew that I really need to go out and connect with the community who knows about these things, who connects with these things. And when I went out, because I was really scared, I said that it's just me, there's nobody out there, and have I really gone crazy when I was awakening? But then I go out and I found the community, and I found so much of love and support there. I feel it's when I connected with the like-minded people, I healed more quickly. Because then most things which I was still holding on to, they were quickly released by just the simple understanding that it is just an experience and nothing more. So remember, practice these things: compassion, kindness, love, respect towards yourself. Then remember, in common humanity, even the people who are hurting you or have been mean to you, remember they are too suffering somewhere. Now that you understand these things, be the bigger person, not by being arrogant about it, but being humble and realizing that the inner child in you was not healed or was wounded in the same way they too have. They do not know about it, and they are wounded somewhere, and that is why the wound is leaking these negativities, where they end up mistreating somebody or say bad things or judge them, criticize them, because they are doing that to them, to their own self. What they are saying to you is how they are treating themselves right within. And everyone is suffering in their own ways. So you never know what they are going through. Maybe you have gone through the worst you feel, but as you go out, meet people, you'll realize that maybe your problem is really tiny in front of what the other person is facing. All right. So if you have awakened and realize that this is not you and you can change it, then maybe others might not change. But if you can go out and support, then please do that. Okay. Mindfulness, noticing our struggle, feel it. Instead of being reactive, be with it, avoiding self-judgment or overreaction. They say that, the anger can bring consequences that are not good, but after the anger, whatever you have done, the guilt or the shame, trauma, whatever comes after that, because you ended up doing something in anger, that causes you more hurt than the anger. So it's better to stop at anger, identify and release the anger, and do not let it increase. So see if you are getting angry, egoistic, or you do not feel good about yourself. Change that. You can change that. Do a gratitude journal. You can find this on Google. Start being grateful for the things you have. Active life. Change your food. Do some workout. Stay away from addictive substance like smoking, drinking, drinking, I said, drugs, too much of TV binging, food. I'm trying to leave my coffee, but I still can't because I feel that is also kind of addiction. And I still crave for food and I end up eating, which I again need to stop. So active life, that is another thing. Okay, now sometimes when you feel really unworthy, you just don't see the light. You just don't know how to go back to being normal, happy, and all those things. And sometimes when you get too deep, you might be in depression. So in these cases, please go to a doctor. Do not think that you will be labeled mentally ill or something. No, it's just that you've got stuck in the past, and with professional help, they can help you get out of that pattern and you can be back a normal, healthy person. Yes, you can do it. Thumbs up to you. Okay, now spiritual healing methods, because starseeds, light workers, awakening souls, we truly believe it's the energy and we're carrying it life after life. So what can you do? Sunbath. Sunbath, it's the food source of plants, and it is definitely a food source for your internal working. Sun is very important. Don't think that you should only absorb the morning sun rays. People will say it's UV rays. Just check that in your app. And if there are no UV rays, then morning, afternoon, before it's going to, before it's sundown, you can go out. Meditation is another. Grounding energy exercises. It's again on YouTube. Music is releasing frequency, and frequency is changing your inner frequency. Just do a little study about how music affects your inner self. And once again, this all, if you are interested in these things, if you go and Google them, you will find how music is affecting you, how grounding helps you, how sun rays are affecting your body, how meditation is affecting your body, your mind. It's making you more peaceful, getting you into still spaces. All right, going out into nature, connecting with Mother Gaia. Affirmations. There's so many affirmations out there. Whatever suits for you, just pick them up. If you want to create your own positive affirmations, are nothing but positive words, and once you keep repeating them, your cells are absorbing it, your body is absorbing it, changing your energy and frequencies. Mantras, again, like affirmations, mantras are again changing the frequency, the environment outside and inside. And definitely you can go to spiritual healers, right? Now, after doing these so many things, when you start working, you feel that something wants to get out of you. You need to talk, you need to release. So then comes expressing. Now, do not go expressing to people you know they are going to judge you, or they are not going to be kind to you. There are groups where we practice safe space, where you are not judged for who you are. We just let you express and release. We fill you with positive affirmations and applaud you for expressing, because we truly believe that when you express and show your vulnerability, it is your strength, your courage of the soul to speak up. It's not easy to speak your truth. Remember that. It is not easy. It's really tough. So safe space with trusted group. It can be with one person, or two, three, or a few more. There are groups. Once you go out, you want to find them, you will easily find them. So you can always choose these safe spaces or trusted people that you have in your environment and express them. Now, this is a very beautiful quote by Carl Jung. Now, Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist, and he was the one who talked about shadow work, that we all have our own shadows, and because of those shadows, we are acting in a certain way and we do not recognize that. So he talked a lot about shadow work, and he did his basic theory was of the collective unconsciousness, that these are the unconscious dark parts, shadows inside of us that make us do certain things in a repeated pattern. So he says everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Till I kept feeling that they are the ones triggering me, they are causing me mental agony, emotional distress, so and so and so forth. I just kept on increasing that problem. But when I sat with myself and asked, why are why is so and so person triggering me? What is the reason? And I gave time to understand that trigger. I found the answers that I was the one in those patterns, and those patterns in me did not want me to identify that these are my shadows, and they kept putting the blame on other people, that it's you, it's you, it's you, but not me. So sometimes really harsh truths come out, but it's best to accept them. All right, we come to the end of the episode. With that, I'll just do a quick summary. To observe your consciousness, your thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, and separate them from others. Then, when you realize certain things about yourself, please do not get into the judgment cycle that you judge people and then they judge you, and the cycle repeats. But the truth is, deep within, you're judging yourself continuously. You need to stop that judgment there. So once you stop judging yourself, it automatically, no judgment feelings or energies flow out of you for others as well. Yes, you can do it. Whatever you want to pick from this, whatever you want to use, imply, remember, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Sit with yourself, work on yourself, write and find what's not working for you, what's keeping you stuck, and get out of that comfort zone. Nothing can stop you. You can do it, I can do it, we all can do it, and get out of this pattern. Yes, in the end, this is a beautiful quote. Lighthouses don't question their own worthness based on what some other lighthouse is doing. They just stand there shining. True. The lighthouse is not going out searching how the other lighthouse's light is shining. They just work on their own light. Very beautiful quote for every soul. It's not just for light workers. Every soul has a light within, and everybody has the potential to be a lighthouse for others. In the end, eternally grateful to my protectors, Archangel Michael and Hanumanji. With that, lots of love and light. Princess Starlight. I feel to heal. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment if you liked it. Let me know how you feel about the episodes. If they are too long, you want me to decrease them, because I know I speak a lot, and that's why the episodes, I really try to keep them short, but they increase in time length. So let me know. All right. Bye bye everybody. Take care.